Welcome to the We Hack Purple podcast, where each week we meet with a different guest from the information security industry. We want to learn what it's like to do their job. What is a day like in the life of a pen tester or an incident responder or an application security professional? We want to know what kind of training they need to do to get there, because we want you to be able to find the job of your dreams, hopefully in InfoSec. I am Tanya, Janca, your host from We Hack Purple. We are an academy, podcast, and online community that wants to help everyone create more secure software. This episode is sponsored by ThreadFix, powered by Denim Group. They're our wonderful sponsor of many weeks now, and we really appreciate their support. And our guest this week is Gabrielle Botbol. And I know what you're thinking. Tanya, stop talking. We want to see Gabrielle. I know. It's okay. Here she is. Oops, of course I pressed the button twice because I am impatient. So here is Gabrielle. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya, for this great introduction.
Thank you so much for being on the show. I am honored to have another member of WOSEC, Women of Security, on the show. I'm wondering if you could introduce yourself briefly, and then maybe I'm going to ask you to tell everyone what WOSEC is.
Sure. So my name is Gabrielle Botbol, as you said, and I am at Gabrielle_BGB on Twitter. I am a pen tester in Canada, and so, as you mentioned, Women of Security is a community for women and people who are underrepresented in the security field. And we are doing events, and we are trying to make people who are underrepresented more visible so that they can work in cybersecurity and we can be more and more women there. And so I started a chapter in Paris, and I moved to Canada. So now I just joined forces with the Montreal chapter, and so you are responsible for the chapter in Victoria now. So
yes, so that's how we met, and I was really excited that she said yes to being on the show, because there are not that, well, for 100 reasons, but there are not that many women pen testers, and also I wanted. Because you've been in France and now you've been in Canada, so I feel like you have a whole bunch of different experiences that you can share. And for the people who are hearing a small accent, yes, she speaks French, Parisian French. And I know I speak French, and some of you are probably thinking, why is this episode not in French? And it is because it's sponsored in English. And the whole show is always in English, and if we have an episode in French, it will be very confusing for our listeners. But maybe one day we'll have another thing in French. So could you describe what it's like what your job's like? Like, what do you do?
So I'm a pen tester, and pen testing is like the process of attempting to break into a system to check how safe it is. So it aims to find vulnerabilities so that they can be patched. And so there are different phases in the pen test. We always see pen tester as always attacking and everything, but we do not go straight to the attack phase. We need to plan it with the customer. So we define the scope because there are a lot of legal matters for this. And then so this is the planning phase. And then we need to gather information about the target, like how does it work, understand a little the technologies and everything. So this is called the discovery phase. And after we attack and we make notes in the process and we gather proof. And so this is the attack phase. And finally, we are going to produce a report with explanations on how to reproduce the flow and how to correct it, and we will give resources and everything so that people who read the report can be able to the ideal thing would be that they would be able to reproduce it on their own so that they can see for themselves and have a better idea on how to work it and how to correct it and everything. So this is what pen testing is.
Cool. I feel like we should expand pen testing to explain its penetration testing, just in case someone doesn't know that term.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
would you say that pen testing is possibly the most well known of the information security types of activities or jobs?
Yes, you're probably right because well, people people in, I feel like people in the industry are very, you know, there is the red team part and the blue team part, and they're always excited about the red team part, but we tend to forget that we have blue team also, which is very important because they are the one responsible for protecting us and protecting industry, citizen, and everything. And we tend to forget this, but I really think that blue teamers and red teamers should work together because this is how um, the this is how it should work. I mean, we are all people, we are all different, but
Yeah.
together we can make a difference, and we can maybe bring cyber peace one day. Let's hope for this.
I've never heard it called that before, cyber peace. I love it. So, yeah, I agree with you completely that sometimes red team seems to get kind of like more attention, and without blue team, I mean, we would all have very bad days every day on the internet. Can you tell me what a day in the life is like of a pen tester?
Yeah, sure. So I do what maybe everybody do. I open my mailbox and I'm sending an email to the customer because I need to announce when I will test their infrastructure. It's important because in case it's visible for them, they need to know it's you. But it rarely happens that people notice you, but because we are very stealthy people, we try to be. But yeah, so we also tell them when it's done at the end of the day, but we have to be careful with emails because we get a lot of those, obviously. So we don't spend a lot of time on this. We take time to read those at specific hours. Sometimes we have calls with customers to prepare new projects, and in my company, once every 2 weeks, we have meeting with the team to talk about our projects, how we can be more efficient in our work and everything. And so most of the time, the core of the job is to work and attack and write reports and everything. So you learn something every day because you see different technologies. I mean, I'm always amazed at the quantity of technologies and different systems you see in the field. It's pretty impressive, and so this is the cool part because you get to learn a lot of things every day. I mean, there's not a day when I don't learn a thing, so this is very nice.
Okay, so that's awesome. That okay, so now I have to ask the contentious question. So how often do you get noticed when you're doing your job?
What will happen sometimes is that we are going to launch automatic scanners because it helps us to uh, uh, have an overview of the thing we might find. We do a lot of manual testings, but the first part will be to make automatic scanners. And sometimes there are some features in the system we are testing that would send an email. And so it
Yeah.
happens sometimes that a customer will tell us, I received like 2,000 emails. Could you please
Oh
do
no.
something? Like, because it's like very invasive. So we stop the scanner thing right away and we continue everything manually. But yeah, it's very rare, and it's so, and we can also make our automatic scan to be careful with this kind of things, so we can set them up so that they don't get too intrusive as well. So
Cool. Cool. Oh my gosh, I've had that email situation before and they're like, "Oh no."
please stop.
Do you ever have to go into a data center and how cold is it?
Well, when we do, sometimes we do physical pen tests, so like physical intrusion. So this is definitely going to be one of our targets to see if we can get into the data center. So that's very cool, and it's cool and cold at the same time, because when we get there, we get cold. But it's an exciting part of the job.
Do you ever have to like when I was a pen tester, I would actually have to go physically into the data center and work from the data center sometimes. Do you have to do that?
I never had the opportunity to do this.
It
When I go
sucks.
to,
It
really?
sucks. Yeah, it's so cold after 8 hours. You're like, I hate myself. Yeah.
So you bring like your scarf and your hoodie
Oh,
and everything, and you're
oh
like
yeah.
this.
I wear a hat and then I have mitts where it cuts off the fingertips. And then I type like that because I get so cold. Because some customers, they're like, oh, we don't want to let you through our firewall. So you have to go in, and I would plug into the server directly. It's really weird and old.
Okay. So I
Old.
never done that before, but I'm really curious about this.
It was not ideal. And also, I was surprised how easy it was to get let in after the first day. They just kept letting me in. They're like, oh yeah, the pen tester lady's here. If another woman had walked in, like if you walked in, they'd probably be like, brown hair, she can go in. Like it was like the first day I was really strict, and then after that they're like, meh. Okay. Your job sounds cool so far. What types of personality do you think someone like could have or should have to be a good pen tester? Like if they're shy or they're extroverted or they're, all those things.
I'd say that you have to be very curious, because you really need to question everything. Like if you see something, like even if you have just a feeling, you need to go see what it is, and so you really have this curiosity thing that is, I think it's one of the most important thing to have. You need to be creative, because sometimes you are going to try things that will not work, so you have to find a creative way to make it work. And you need to love learning and sharing, and because
Yep.
you learn something new every day, but you will always have new people in your team and everything who are new to the industry, so you will have also to share and everything. So share your knowledge with people, ask them what they are good at, because you also like gain a lot from asking questions and everything. So yeah, those would be the things I would say for the
Oh,
personality.
okay. I like it. A lot of the pen testers that I ended up meeting, I would say, like, no, I wouldn't say like all of them by any means, but a noticeable amount that I unfortunately met, I would say like maybe 10 or 20% were very arrogant. Have you met, because like you're not arrogant, I know you. And so but have you ended up meeting other ones where you have noticed that?
uh, I would say, I don't know if it's a pen tester trait. I would say you always have arrogant people everywhere,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
good point.
But yeah, it can happen, and so it's not always easy to handle it, but yeah, I try not to take it personally, and I try to like just do my work. And so yeah, it can happen, but sometimes you will have people who think they know better than you, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, as a woman, sometimes it's even I think it amplifies this because
Yeah.
you're just a woman, so why are you talking? So just let me explain to you things. So, but yeah, I mean, we are here today, and we are getting stronger and stronger. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, we are going to be all over the place very soon.
Yes, I agree. I look forward to the day where women make up around half of the security industry, because then we can finally fill all those jobs they keep talking about how there's all these jobs unfulfilled. I'm like, well, we just need the women to show up and we'll be all set. It'll be great.
Yeah.
I make it sound very simple, don't I? So now I have to talk about my book, because that is a thing that I'm supposed to do. So I
Sure.
am going to put up on the screen a thing about my book. So I wrote a book called Alice and Bob Learn Application Security. I'm just going to hide myself from the screen there. And basically, it is a book all about AppSec. It is not a book about pen testing. If you want to be a pen tester, like, some of the stuff covered would be helpful, but you should buy a different book if that's what you really want, like the one by Georgia Weidman called Penetration Testing. I own it. It's a good book. But if you want to learn how to create secure software, Alice and Bob Learn AppSec is the book for you. Okay, advertising over. All right. I have way more questions for you, Gabrielle. So this is probably the question that is hard to answer, but what types of technical skills does someone need to be a pen tester? Because it feels like there probably is a lot.
Yeah, so it can be hard to tackle at first, but I would say knowledge in programming is not mandatory, but it helps a lot because you need to be able to understand code injection and to develop your own exploit if you want to go really far in the practice. I mean, it's you will have to get into programming. Let's face it, it's very important. It's not mandatory to start, but I think it's good to get it along the way. Knowledge law, because you get to test networks and everything. You have to be comfortable when you use VirtualBox and VMware. You have to be able to know how to install a virtual machine. This is something, I mean, I cannot work without a virtual machine. No, it's like, it's very important for
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Uh, you need to have a good understanding of Linux because I think the best tools are in Linux for pen testing. And
Mm-hmm.
if you have a good comprehension of operating system, it's definitely a plus. Like when you are going to do some what we call internal pen test, where you have to take over a network. Like if you have a network on Windows, you have to understand everything about Windows. Yeah. So those, I would say, those are the main technical skills. But
Nice.
you don't have to be an expert on all of them for the beginning. You can get to know things along the way.
I don't mean to make you jealous with all the nice food I'm eating. I prepared a snack of fresh vegetables and berries and cheese because when we work from home, we can make the best snack ever.
Yeah.
That's a really good list though, Gabrielle. And you said it in a really concise way. I like the way you explained it, because sometimes people will say you need to be an expert at everything, and I'm like, no one's an expert at everything. It just doesn't work
Yeah.
out that way. And I agree with you too that like if you know some coding, it really helps. But I see lots of people get by without it. Kind of, yeah. Okay. I'm just like nodding and agreeing. So if people that are listening, Tanya's like nodding a lot while Gabrielle talks, just so you know. So let's say someone is like, pen testing sounds very interesting to me. Is there training that someone could take to become a pen tester, or like a book you feel they should read, or like what kinds of ways could they try to train themselves, or if there's a course or whatever?
So I think it's important if people are not comfortable with writing skills to learn about how to make good report and everything, because it's a big part of the job. You need to be able to make technical concepts very easy to understand for people who are not technical, and for technical people as well, because in fact, a pen testing report is cut in two parts. You have an executive part, where you will have the non-technicals who will read them, and you have the technical part just after with very detailed things and technical things. So writing skills is very important, and also a specific training. I would recommend platforms like TryHackMe, which is very good for beginners, and because they even explain how to use their platform. So it's like they're even a box they will explain to you how to set up your VPN, how to connect to the box and everything. So it's very nice. And when you get used to TryHackMe, they have also more advanced box and everything. So
Cool.
they have all levels, but I really like it because it's very good for beginners. And then you can go to Hack the Box, which is for more advanced user, because you have to like hack the invite code to be able to get in and to register there, which is very cool. And also you can practice with bug bounties. And you mentioned earlier the book of Georgia Weidman, which is awesome. And even though it was written a little while ago, it's still up to date, and it's still definitely a good one to read. So those are the things I would. And also there are a lot of platforms like Elearn Security, like also you have a lot of on Udemy. The classes are not that expensive, so if you don't have a lot of money for the moment and you just want to learn and everything, it's a good start. And if you want more information on resources and everything, I happen to have a blog in which I put a list of resources, and also there's an article on how to get started with pen testing that could be of interest. So feel free to go there.
Yes, and Gabrielle, could you say your blog address out loud for the people who are listening and can't see me flashing it on the screen underneath you?
So my blog is gabrielleb.fr/blog. And so from there you will have many different tabs, and you will have one with a podcast where you will have Tanya Janca on a podcast.
Yes, the tables have turned. So previously I was on Gabrielle's podcast, and so she was the host and I was the guest, and so it's very fun to switch positions or spots or whatever you want to call it. So for our listeners, her website address is spelled in a French way. So Gabrielle is GABRIELLEB.fr/blog. So there's the LE on the end of Gabrielle because it's French and that's feminine. And when you hear it as an Anglophone, they might not realize that it's ELLE at the end because c'est français et tu es une femme, because she is female, and then that is how we spell it. I just want to make sure everyone can get to your blog because I've been to her blog. There's so many good things on there. And so I'm going to flash it again later, don't worry. But I have more questions, as you might have guessed. So let's say someone is a student in university or college, or they're switching into IT from another area of tech. And they're thinking, oh, I saw the Hackers movie with Angelina Jolie and she's so cool. And I saw Swordfish and clearly it's effortless to be a hacker. And which obviously is not true. And they're like, I want to become an ethical hacker. I think this is an awesome job for me. So what types of work experience would you suggest they get? Or can they go right out of school or right from another field to be a pen tester? Or should they try to get other jobs first? What do you think?
Okay, so I love this question because I always say that there is no linear or unique path to success in pen testing. Personally, after high school, I studied dramatic arts to become an actress. And to finance this training, I was also a receptionist in the luxury hotel industry in Paris. So this is completely different, but in my spare time, I programmed websites about theater and art in general. So this was the technical touch of this part of my life. And after traveling, meeting people, getting to know myself better, I just I decided to reorient myself. And the 26 years old, I decided to train in application development, and I got a bachelor degree in computer science.
Nice.
And immediately after this, I worked for a large international company as a developer. But, then again, I was there and I was like, what is the security of the things I deliver? Like,
I wish they were all thinking that. Oh, continue,
So,
sorry.
and we did not have We Hack Purple at the time, so we could not study about this. So, and I've always had like justice at heart. So the field of cybersecurity actually addresses this value because it's about protecting business, it's about protecting data of individuals and society and everything. So in a way, a non-technical experience can lead to cybersecurity due to the meaning you want to give to your life. So,
oh, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. So now is the part of the broadcast where I ask people that are listening to click the thumbs up button if they're watching the video. And if you're listening, consider giving us a podcast review. Because if you give us a podcast review and then you show us a screenshot of it, you send it to our Twitter account, which is @WeHackPurple, we will send you stickers in the mail. Yes, that's right, bribery from We Hack Purple. Also, if you do a review of my book, Alice and Bob Learn Application Security, there's also sticker bribery there for you if you want it. But more importantly, I want to thank our sponsor, ThreadFix. ThreadFix is the most stupendous vulnerability management system this side of the galaxy and a wonderful supporter of We Hack Purple. And I really appreciate Dan and Sheridan and all the people there and all the things they have done to support me and my career and our company. So, yes. I still have more questions for you though. I hope you weren't thinking like, oh, we're done now. No.
No.
Okay, so let's say so we have more people watching us than normal, which is awesome. So thank you to everyone that is watching us live. And I think it's because they might want to become pen testers. And that's awesome. What type of learning path do you think someone could set up for themselves? So let's say they're like in the next year, I'm hoping to move into this. What types of, if we could create some sort of little mini plan for them, what would you suggest? Do the try hack me and then the hack in the box, or read books, or what do you think?
So there are no specific paths because cybersecurity is a young field, so there is not a diploma or certification to get into pen testing. So I would say that you need two essential skills, which are adapting to the environment all the time because technologies are constantly changing, and you need to know how to transfer skills that you previously acquired into cybersecurity skills. So those are two important things. And also, uh, try hack me is good. You can make your own. Like you should. You can try to define your learning profile. Like, how do you learn best? Do you learn by watching videos? Do you learn by reading? Do you learn by talking with people? And if it's all of that, just mix it up, and you can uh, adapt your learning to your style of the way you learn and everything. So that's what I did, and I was so to I had like more of I'm someone who needs to practice. So this is why I always talk about try hack me and everything. But also I like to read things. I like to listen to watch videos and everything. So there are a lot of amazing YouTube channels out there that you can learn from.
Definitely.
And also you have a lot of nice MOOCs and everything. And just don't stay on the technical side of things. It's always good to have a holistic view of cybersecurity. This is not only knowing how to get into a system, it's also knowing that you have a lot of things like legal matters, like geopolitics and everything. So I went to conferences about geopolitics and cybersecurity. So you have a lot of it really depends on how you learn. Like, do you like to practice and everything, and make something according to your learning style.
I love that you mentioned the types of learning. Would you say that it's really important, specifically as a pen tester, to make sure you know the laws in the country that you are working revolving around cybercrime so you don't accidentally commit one?
Yeah, I think it's good to be aware of those things, like because, well, most of the time the company you work for will help you with this. So this is something really like important. And so we have, like, most of the times you will have to sign a non-disclosure agreement and things like this. But it's always good to know for yourself, and to do some research on the country you're in, how is the law and how does it work and everything, because yeah, you definitely need to know those things, I would say.
I want to caution our listeners. So, Gabrielle is a professional and she works at a company and she knows what she's doing. And so, do not ever attack a real website that you don't have written permission to do. So she's a professional, she knows what she's doing, and she has contracts and she signs all the things and dots all her I's and crosses all of her T's. And that's why she's a professional. Do you want to tell people that are learning about things they should not do?
Yeah, like exactly this. Don't like use you can use there are on VanHub there are a virtual machine that you can hack. It's made for this. You have lots of different things and places to learn online. Like so don't hack. If you see a website that you feel like it's not that safe, don't hack it. Just it you have to have the permission before. So you can do bug bounties where you have this is real context. If you want something like more than hack the box, which is not real pen testing in a way, this is just boxes, so which are very good to practice. But If you want more real context, you have bug bounties. So if you want to practice in real context, just go to bug bounties, but don't decide that you are going to hack, I don't know, like the Pentagon or the FBI or anything. It's just don't do this. And and you really need to have something written to say that you have the right and you are authorized to do so, because this is a job you were mandate with.
Yes, and it has to be your name, not your boss's name. My first professional mentor had me do things and totally told me it was okay because he had the contract. But now that I know a lot more, I'm like, gosh, he taught me a lot of very bad lessons of how to do things, like giving me credentials to things that I should not have had, etc. This is why I never named my first professional mentor in cybersecurity, because I was like, oh my gosh, that is so not cool. And I think it's really important that people know, like, if you have a professional mentor and they're like, make sure that what they're showing you what to do is legal. Make sure that your name is on any contract or any agreement in order to attack things. Because I want everyone to have a good experience. Okay, so up next, the super tough question. Does your job and your type of job, does it pay well in your opinion?
So when you start, you will get a decent average salary, but when you get more experience, the salary becomes very attractive. So in my opinion, yes, but don't expect something big right at the beginning. You have to learn. It's normal. So you will get something, but it's pretty decent. It's average, but decent. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So some of the jobs, when we've been interviewing people and we ask that question, they're like, no, the pay is awful. I have to have another job. Like, it depends on, and I think it's really important that people understand if something pays well or not, because if they're like looking really hard to go do a thing, like for instance, we've had some bug bounty hunters on the show, and they have explained that there are a few people that are famous bug bounty hunters, and they'll make like $500,000 in a year. But almost all bug bounty hunters, it's because it's fun and it's a passion. They don't get paid well. It's not even a part-time job for a lot of them. Like, it's a hobby. And so pen testing pays. This is good. This is good. I know that the audience is probably expecting me to talk about cheese, because in one of the episodes we talked about, like, I was trying to ask them if it pays well or not. And I knew that I had made it as a software developer when I was able to buy multiple types of cheese at the grocery store. I was like looking at two and trying to decide. I'm like, I can totally afford both. Yeah. And when I became a pen tester, I was like, I can have 3 types of cheese. I can have anything I want in the grocery store. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good pay. You're not gonna roll around in piles of $100 bills on your bed or anything, like, unless you're a weirdo. like it's not gonna be like in the movies. And also, this assumes you don't break the law and you don't end up. Yeah. It's okay. I'm gonna stop. Are there many opportunities to get a job that's similar to yours?
Yes, there are plenty of opportunities, but I have to say, unfortunately, companies ask a lot of experience, even for beginners. So it is very useful, like apply to a lot of job offers. Whatever the level of experience is required, just apply. You need, I mean, you are going to be able to see from the inside the expectations of the employers. So this is always a good experience. And like, for instance, this is what I did. And I was able to show my skills by doing a CTF during my job interview. So
Whoa.
don't be discouraged. Thanks. And if the interview is not conclusive, because, you know, it's okay. I mean, each interview will allow you to be better prepared for the next one. So think of it as an exercise, not as a failure. And also, something that was really helpful for me when I was looking for an opportunity is my blog. Like, this is a real portfolio of who I am and what I do and know. So employers like to see this, and a blog is perfect for this. It's not mandatory, of course. You have like, you can write articles on LinkedIn about things you do, like share CTF write-ups, explain a concept that you're passionate about. Like, it can take many different forms, but try to find a way to show what you do, what you know, what you love. It's always helpful. And also meet people, go in the wild, meet people from the community, get involved in the community, go to conferences, talk to speakers, talk to attendees, and create an association with your friends. Like, it doesn't have to be Tanya, but you can create, like, join some sort of WOSEC or something, and do it.
That is such good advice. All of that is totally awesome advice. I would like to just note that I agree 1000% with everything she said. Those are all. And then I put underneath you, fantastic advice, because I was like, I don't know what to say other than just like nod my head really hard. So if someone what is your favorite thing? Like, what do you like the best about your job?
Learning, like learning from my peers, discovering new technologies, trying new things. This is like, I never get tired of this. So this is my favorite thing.
That's awesome, because you definitely have to continue to learn if you want to be totally awesome at pen testing. That's good. So then what do you like the least about your job?
I think I really love everything about my job, but however, what I like least in the field, more globally, is the lack of women and minorities in cybersecurity. Like, I mean, in order to pacify and make technology accessible and adapted to the greatest number of people, like, it is really urgent that women be present at all levels in all technical fields, because this way the future will be written by all the ends in society is. Society is not only men, it's women, it's LGBTQ+, it's all the people who are underrepresented. So, and it's exactly also like I said about before about blue team and red team. They need to work more together, because they will make people and organizations stronger. So that would be the things I would change, if I could.
I agree so much, it hurts. I really, really, really strongly agree. I would like to personally encourage every single person from every underrepresented group in tech to apply, to join us, to join groups that support you. So, for instance, we made WOSEC, a whole bunch of us, because we wanted to make lots of other friends that were like us, and we use the most wide definition of women. We want every type of woman, tall or short, gay, bisexual, straight, trans, cis, all of the types of women, all of them, and non-binary folk as well. Like, yeah, if you are in some other underrepresented group, like joining a group just so that you can vent about crap that happens at work that's not cool. Like, just being able to go have brunch with a whole bunch of women and be like, this happened. Do you think this might be sexism? And having them all say, yes! And like agree with you, because if you ask a bunch of men that you work with, they will 100% of the time, well, not 100, 94% of the time, they'll be like, no, I don't see. And it's like, but it's just like, you want, I don't know, to have people that have had the same experience as you and can relate to you. And it's so valuable. It's important. It's important to be able also to like see what other people are doing to deal with problems they're having. And also, WOSEC has resulted in a lot of people finding jobs. It's like, oh, you're not happy where you are? We're hiring. Because it's hard to hire a skilled security professional, and I am not above stealing them from other organizations. And like, yeah, oh, I feel like you definitely pressed a hot topic for me. Um, what makes you feel the most pride or the most proud in the work that you do?
So my work is to protect digital data of all forms and of entities from companies to local authorities. So apart from the technical aspect, I would say that the title of Pentesters for me is to pacify the cyberspace, like to allow the greatest number of people to surf the net in a safe and secure way. So it is this value of freedom, trust, and security that motivates the meaning of my life. And so, you know, like the task is long, it's complex because of the power struggle of the great authorities as we see every day, like every minute, I would say, in this like geopolitical battle and the emergence of cyber criminal groups that are becoming more and more numerous every day. It's crazy. And it's obvious that individual liberties, democracy, economic stability, sovereignty are in danger. So these challenges, they really require that the population to be informed, about the issues of cybersecurity in our societies. So yeah, what makes me proud in my work is to participate in leading society towards cyber peace. This is
I love it. I love it. I often tell people that working in cybersecurity that it's a noble profession because it's literally our job to protect others. But you're the first person that I've talked to that I feel has said it even better. I really like it.
thanks.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
good. And I love the idea of cyber peace. Like, I'll say, I want my mom to be able to use the internet safely. Like a super smart person, but who's not an expert at cybersecurity. I don't want you to have to be an expert to be able to go on the internet and buy some shoes. You should just be able to do that safely.
Yeah, definitely.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to try to get into a similar role as you? Maybe something actionable if you can.
So it can be scary when you arrive at first in the industry, but I would say that splitting a big goal in small steps and setting up deadlines would make it easier. So, and most of the people in the field, they are willing to share your knowledge. So ask questions whenever you feel lost. Uh, what helped me a lot was going to conferences, going to summer school, participating in workshops, and talking to as many people as I could. And also, social media is a great resource. Like follow influencers in the field, DM people to ask questions or advice, or just make contact. So yeah, it's not simple to break the barrier at first, but getting involved in the cyber community is really helpful. So
100% yes. I agree a lot. As usual, I agree with Gabrielle. Je suis d'accord. So, so we're nearing the end. So I have a more personal question, and you can totally deflect it if you don't want to answer. But are there other things you do outside of information security that you want to share?
sure. We talked about the fact that I'm on WOSEC. I'm also VP Communication at NorSec conference.
Yes.
It's a conference about cybersecurity, and they host an amazing CTF every year. And I give talk and workshops about pen testing. And I love to work on CTF platform and do peer-to-peer learning with my friends. Like we often meet and practice together. It's really motivating.
That's awesome. I would like to note I love NorthSec. Oh my gosh, I love Montreal, and the NorthSec organizers are so awesome. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun at that conference. And like, yeah, Montreal's just, the culture is so wonderful. And yeah, I love that conference. one of the organizers reached out to me and she's like, I heard that you were saying really good stuff about us. Thanks. And I was like, oh yeah, I loved it. And the speaker's gift was amazing. It was whiskey maple syrup. So it was like maple syrup, but bourbon, sorry. And it was like so delicious and so French Canadian. I love French Canadians. I was living in Quebec before I moved to British Columbia. So yeah, I love NORSEC. I'm so happy to hear you're a part of the organizing committee. They're awesome. Okay, I'm going to stop fangirling. Okay, so last question. But first of all, everyone, please subscribe to the We Hack Purple podcast if you are not already subscribed, either on YouTube or on your favorite podcast app, or both. Both is good too. I'll take both. Okay, but back to you. If someone wants to know more about Gabrielle Botbol, where should they find more about you? Do you have a website? Are there events or links I can share?
So there's my blog, as we mentioned it before, which is gabrielleb.fr/blog. And there you will find a podcast, which is called the World Tour Podcast, in which you kindly participated. And I am on Twitter at Gabrielle_BGB. And on LinkedIn, it's easy. You just type Gabrielle Botbol and you will very certainly find me, because I think I'm the only female Gabrielle named Botbol. So It's pretty easy. And I regularly post events I participate in, so on those platforms. And you can find also videos of my previous talk on my blog on the category talks. And also follow NorthSec Conference on Twitter, because we are going to organize a lot of online activities before the conference, and they will be fun to participate in. So just follow them and participate to those events. You will love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. This has been so great, and I feel like you shared such good advice, like really, really good, actionable, helpful, realistic advice. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much, Gabrielle.
Well, thank you, Tanya, for having me, and thank you to We Hack Purple Academy and the sponsor. And please buy Tanya's book, because it's amazing and she is amazing. So
thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
And with that, I am going to close up this episode of the We Hack Purple podcast. I want to thank everyone who has been giving us reviews. I want to thank our guest. I want to thank especially our sponsor, ThreadFix, powered by Denim Group, Gabrielle Botbol. She was amazing. I want to tell you just about some of the people that are going to be up next month, because we have, well, as you might imagine, a whole bunch more guests planned. So next week, we have an amazing surprise for you. Well, it's not a surprise. We have Shelley Gesbreach, also known, so you probably heard of her as Nerdosity. And so I've been following her online for a long time, and she actually said yes to be on the show, and I'm super excited. And she's going to talk about incident response, and she is a fellow Canadian. Yeah, that's right. After that, we're going to have Mahidina Afrin, and she's going to talk about being a bug bounty hunter. And then next year, because we're taking a 2-week break over the Christmas holidays, so we're going to come back on January 7th with Najla Lindsay, and she's going to talk about being a forensic investigator, which is something I actually don't know as much about, so I'm really excited. And after that, we're going to have Brian Anderson, Sasha Rosenbaum. We're going to have Telesh Seepersam. I'm sorry, Telesh, for not saying your name correctly. Then we're going to have Ali Mellon and Stephanie Black and so many others. And I want to thank you personally. So again, I'm your host, Tanya Janca, also known as She Hacks Purple. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really, really appreciate you as our listeners. I love it when people talk to us. I love it when people give us feedback. And we really appreciate you participating in the We Hack Purple movement. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week.